right. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. New week. New week, new opportunities. How we doing? Happy Monday. Bitcoin is ripping. Yeah, Bitcoin. Nice stuff. Buttcoin. Damn, 73. Bitcoin. 3 months in the year, I finally bought an Nvidia put. Yeah, I mean it's starting to get a little it's getting a little interesting out there. You're starting to get a little bit interesting out there. Feels like the momentum's starting to die off a little bit, that's for sure. And we have seen some key level breaks. So yeah, coin's up big. I see that. Coin's up big. I'm putting levels on that chart right now. Pull back to 260. Pull back to 240. If we get it, of course. That's what I'd be looking for. Post that for the group real quick. I'm in the process of doing the TA for the group. The daylight savings messed me all up this morning, man. I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I was too tired. I guess my body was too tired because technically it was 5 a.m. and I couldn't get up. So I got up a little bit late this morning. Messed me all up. I'm going to wait a few minutes for some people to step in. All right. Morning, guys. Welcome back. Coin IPO price? Good question. 430. 430. So it's still got some time to get there. But yeah, nonetheless, a pretty nice gap up this morning on coin. So you're finally seeing a little bit of weakness on those semis. We saw Nvidia, AMD has an interesting gap below to be watching. SMCI getting a little bit weak. Tesla still holding that 175. Guys, I mean, I'm going to repeat this when we go over Tesla, but I'm going to say it here for you guys that come early. I'll give you a little piece of advice for those that come early. Stop trying to long Tesla, okay? You got to hang it up. I've seen a lot of people in my group continue to try to long this stock, and they're continuing to get killed on it. You got to stop. You got to stop trying to be the hero on Tesla. And this is serious. I'm serious about this. You got to stop. You know, there's going to be a time that Tesla tries to come back. There's going to be a time that Tesla finds its juice again. But it is clearly not here, okay? And you will not, there's no need to be part of Tesla before the juice comes in. Let the juice come in and be a scavenger and pick up the scraps of a clear move rather than trying to go out and hunt for the prey. Right? In trading, you'd rather be a scavenger, man. Let whatever it is you're looking for happen. Start to scavenge off the move. Start to take pieces of the move. You know, have that confirmation that the kill is dead, right? Rather than being out there, you know, especially on stock like Tesla, trying to make it happen by yourself, trying to go against the grain. Don't do it, please. And if you're going to long it, if you so dearly need to long here, yes, I would agree with PJ. If you really think this is an opportunity on Tesla, then just do shares. Stop trying to buy short-dated option expiration calls on Tesla. Okay? That's just a little piece of advice. It's just not worth it at this time. There will be an opportunity, but I don't think it's here. Okay? All right. That's that. That is my little piece of advice for you this morning to stop the bleed from buying that crap. So Doesn't mean I think the stock is crap, because I absolutely love Tesla, man. I love my Tesla. I just got a new Tesla, and it's got to be one of the best cars I've ever owned. And it's crazy, right? I think it's just a matter of adoption. I don't think the whole world has really adopted the EV sector, which is just that's the life. That's just the normal stuff when new technology does come out. There's some kind of a change. There's early adopters. You guys learned this in like middle school, right? or high school, right? There's the early adopters. There's the late adopters. And Tesla, I think, still in that life cycle of trying to build, adoption from the general public. I personally love it. Absolutely love it. But, not everyone does. For example, my father. My father absolutely despises electric vehicles. I don't know why, but he does. And so some people do, some people don't. People have their very strong opinions that EVs suck, like Average Joe. I absolutely love my EV. I love it. One of the best cars I've ever driven is the Model X. And people, I think, for Tesla, people that think EVs suck have never driven a Tesla. Very few of them have actually had the opportunity to get in and actually drive something like a Model X Plaid or Model S Plaid and just, feel how crazy experience it is. But that's the hard part for Tesla, right? Is actually getting people in the seat to experience what it's like. Because at face value, it's very easy to say, Tesla sucks. I hate Tesla, right? All right, let's continue. I hope you guys are having a good morning. Happy Monday. Let's get started. Little spiel there for you, but I think an interesting one. Let's get it. Because I got to, after this live stream, I got to get some more technicals in for the group. So this one might end a little bit easy or a little bit early. All right. Economic calendar. Here we go. Average Joe does not like electric vehicles. All right. So today, I plug it. It's plugged in right now at home, fully charged as I sleep. All right. Today, I don't see anything on the economic calendar today. You can see right here. However, tomorrow is very important, right? Tomorrow is very important. 8:30 CPI. Guys, I'd expect the market to be a little bit less volatile, a little bit of a choppy, what some people like to call it, choppy market. I'd expect a little bit more of this at 8:30, right? 8:30, I think a little bit more of this before CPI tomorrow, right? Market is going to be anticipating this event tomorrow. So you have to understand, before these type of events, the market anticipates major economic data. And typically, before major economic data, the market doesn't like to move too much. Now, that doesn't mean it's 100% certain that that's going to happen, but this is something you prepare for, okay? If you prepare that CPI is tomorrow and there's a possibility of potential shitty price action, and then the market opens and there's shitty price action, and then you start trading and you start complaining because there's shitty price action and you start losing money, and then you look back and you say, man, I knew there was going to be shitty price action. CPI is tomorrow. What am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I continuing to trade? Right? These are the things you have to continue to try to. This is nothing but your human control, your emotional control, your psychological control, you being able to control the connections from your brain to your fingertips. That's it, right? This is a huge part of trading, right? You come into today knowing CPI is tomorrow. You know there could be some lackluster price action. However, you get into the day, it's 30 minutes into the day, and you're trading. You've already traded 5-6 times. You're getting all active, and the market's not moving, right? These are the little things we need to make sure we have control of. So it's a very important topic. It's a very important thing to focus on in terms of trading and not losing your ass in that type of action. So today we'll anticipate it. We don't know if it's going to happen, but let's be aware of that. So 8:30 tomorrow, CPI. 1 o'clock tomorrow, you have your 10-year bond auction. Wednesday, 30-year bond auction. Thursday, PPI, retail sales, unemployment claims. So a pretty heavy economic calendar. All right? So let's be aware of that. CPI tomorrow, 10-year, 30-year, right? PPI Thursday, retail sales, unemployment claims. Some big stuff there. Let's be aware of it. Earnings calendar. Do we got anything? Let's pull it up real quick. Do we have anything? We have Oracle today. Vail Resorts. Nothing really. On Cloud. Interesting. Manchester United. Who won last night? Man City or Liverpool? Or yesterday morning? Wow, 1-1 tie, huh? Good game. I watched the first half. Dollar Tree, not much here. Lennar, Home Builder, Dick's Sporting Goods, Ulta. That's obviously always a big one. Adobe. That's about it. Really nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. All right. Yeah, Adobe Ulta, but we'll watch that as we get into it. All right, NASDAQ. So, guys, just a real quick, make sure you understand this. Today, the option contracts did roll over. You are now in the June contracts, right, on TOS. So, if you go to /NQ, you are now in the June contracts. Make sure that you use the adjust for contract change in TOS, okay? So, futures, adjust for contract change. This will also be in TradingView. So if you guys use TradingView, I'll go ahead and pull up TradingView. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show it real time because I don't pay for the real time on TradingView. Let's go to /NQ. We got to make sure we're on the Junes. So I believe this is the continuous contract, the /NQ exclamation point, if I'm not mistaken. 18,213. Yes, I believe this is it, but I'm slightly delayed. Let me go to the 3-minute chart. I think my data is just slightly delayed, but I believe this is the correct contract. Correct me if I'm wrong. 18,217 on this. We're at 18,182. It's slightly off. I don't know if that's because it's delayed, but let me see. Try to figure this out for you guys. I might be wasting time that I don't have right now, but you could just go to the June contracts right here. You can see. Why can't I go to that? Maybe because I don't pay for it. I don't know if I have to pay for this, but it's right here. It's the June contracts. See this? June 2024. That's the one we're on TOS. NQM 2024. NQM 2024 is the June contracts on TradingView. That is what we're on here on TOS. June 2024. Okay? All right. So, NASDAQ. We're right there at that 20. 18,170. We're right below that 20 SMA right now, but I think it's around this 18,170. Below that, 18,075. Okay? These are your next two big levels here on the NASDAQ as we move lower. 18,075 and 18,170. The 18,075 is right here, right? Yeah, it's delayed 15 minutes. Got it. 18,075 is right here. It's a low from Thursday of 2 weeks ago, and it is a low from Tuesday of last week. If you guys remember Tuesday, we had that aggressive downside move. That is where it bounced. That is right here at that 18,075. Okay? So that is going to be big, right? That is going to be big. Because under this 18,075, guys, under this, right, This is a gap up right here on Nvidia earnings. Right here, if you guys look to the left, under this level, okay, is a gap up from Nvidia earnings. And we'll go over this on the QQQ. But if you start to break under 18,075, guys, I think this is when the downside can start to get very interesting. Okay, because under this, I'd expect a little bit of pressure to the downside, especially being that if you do break under this, you are now trading under the daily 20 SMA, right? We have seen the NASDAQ pretty much maintain that daily 20 SMA for quite some time, right? The only time in the past, since the beginning of this year, really, that we traded under the daily 20 was right here. This was back on February 20th. And if we go to February 20th, right, let's just go back to that day. Let's go back to that February 20th day. And we can see sort of the reaction of a rejection at that 20 SMA. Look at this, right here. Look at this right here. We had this low turn into, or we had this low turn into new highs right here, double bottom low into double top highs. We had a 20 SMA rejection, and look at that day, right? Very aggressive sell-off that day under the daily 20. So this is absolutely going to be something we watch here in the short term. Do we start to see a rejection under this daily 20, or do we start to try to hold here, right? Do we try to hold here again? Does the NASDAQ pull off another miraculous, sorry, can't talk today, miraculous hold at that daily 20 SMA, or do we start to see this really start to reject? So I'm watching all this. See all this? Lows, 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 a little bit of consolidation, lows there, right? You can see all these reactions around this 18,170. So that's going to be my first watch. If we break under that, right here, okay, right here, 1875. If we break under that, you have your downside, in my opinion. I think you have some potential downside either into this low that I just created here. That 17,960 is definitely a level to watch. That's that level that rejected back on that daily 20. And then down into this low here around that 17.8, which is the 50 SMA. So you definitely have some potential downside here because of this major gap up on Nvidia earnings. And I'm going to show you that right now on the QQQ. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to equities. I'm going to turn off the after hours price action. And I'm going to show you this gap level that I'm talking about. It is right here. So I'm going to delete that. You can see right here, and I'll delete this for now. Here's the QQQ, okay? And right here, I'm going to go ahead and just put in a little box, a gold box for now. Make this yellow. Right here, you can see that we had a gap up on the QQQ. This gap up was Nvidia earnings. So right here, we have a, I think, potential downside move if we break the 433.70. Now, if you remember, the 433.70 was the level, the exact level that held on that Tuesday low. All right, this was this previous low here, and that was that exact low on Tuesday of last week. So that is going to be a level to watch here. And you can see if I put back on the after hours action, let me put it back on for you. You can see that we're starting to approach it again. All right, look at this QQQ. You are getting close to that gap fill area, 433.70. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, right? 4. This is that big level, 433.70 below. If we fail under this level, this is where I think you can start to set up your short side entries. This is where you probably fill that gap, potentially back towards this 50 SMA, right around this 425, 424 area. There is definitely some potential downside here. So I would personally want to get a move under this level. If you see a very clear rejection here, guys, this is where you can really start to attack the downside, right? A very clear move under this 433.70 is a very clear reason to get aggressive on the short side right here under this level. If you're above this level, You are still technically holding this low, right? And this market could continue to do this, okay? Let's just draw this out with structure. If you are still above this 433.70, the market can continue to do this. There is nothing stopping it from continuing to do this, okay? Nothing. So we could get another bounce off that level, right? It would be the same thing the market's been doing. It would not be out of the ordinary, okay? We've had a drop into this level. We've had a bounce. Why can't it do it again, right? Why can't it do that same thing? It absolutely can. What breaks that structure? It's a break under this level, okay? This breaks that structure, and this is where you want to get aggressive on downside, all right? So just please understand that. Risk reward is going to get worse to the short side as you approach this demand level, right? You need it under, okay? To the upside, I would be watching 422 as supply, right? 422, 422, 422, 422. If you bounce today, look for 422 rejections. That's a very clear level there. 422 rejections, very clear. I'd watch that. Of course, you have rejections at the 447. So 447, 442, and then, of course, your demand below at the 433.70. Okay? That's what I would watch. And, of course, it's always a given. We're watching that daily 20, which is right around here, right around that 436. I'll just throw it at 436 here for now. But it's, of course, the daily 20 SMA that you're going to be watching on the intraday here. All right? 442 is a very clear supply rejection level that you could watch today if we get a bounce. 442 right here. All right? Let's go to the ES. So the ES, in my opinion, if I can get more time here, I think the ES needs to pull back to at least this 50-50 to start. This is at least 50-50 for now, in my opinion. You can see that is right here. 50-50, right there, right? 50-50, 51-50, sorry. 51-50, 51-50, 51-50, 51-50, 51-50. Many, many tests at that 51-50 level on the ES futures. So I think you're going to want to see at least a pullback to that 51-50 level on the ES, and possibly down into that daily 20, and possibly down into this 51-20. Okay, there's some levels here that I'd be watching. 51-50, you have this 51-20, and then in between those two levels, you have this daily 20. So as you come back here, guys, this is less and less of a short side opportunity. Okay? Yeah, you might be excited about the downside this morning, which is potentially very nice. I agree, which I'll be very happy to see and take advantage of. But as you get closer to this daily 20, you guys have seen what's happened in the past on this market. Okay? We're not walking in and saying today is the day that we don't hold the daily 20. Okay? That mindset's gonna hurt us. If we hold it again and we bounce again, right? Then we have to be understanding of why, and it's because it's done it in the past, right? It's done it in the past, and it can do it again. All right, so let's be careful as we short towards this daily 20. Let's be careful as we short towards this 51.50 and this 51.20, right? As well as this uptrending daily 20 there. Just be a little bit cautious in there. It could still be a hold level, right? This 51.20 is also right here, right here, right here, and right here, right? 51.20, in my opinion, is sort of that major level. Under that level, I think things sort of break down, okay? You have previous highs, into lows, and if you crack below this 51.20 level, right, I think this is where the downside starts to really creep in. All right, I think the break under that is a break of this structure right here, right? The market has been holding above previous highs right here, right? You have previous highs. It's been structuring higher. A break under 51.20 is where it starts to break down. And that's where I would really start to get aggressive on the short side. Under 51.20 and under the daily 20, right? And think about how important that is. That is under the support, and that is also under the daily 20. That is where things, I think, can start to weaken, okay? So 5150, 20 SMA, 5120. Those are your big levels below. If you break below that, I think you get weaker. To the upside, you can very clearly see this little rejection that came in on Friday, right? And look how clean that was right here. Once that ES broke back under that Monday high, it was weakness from there, right? 52.20 right here, 52.20, 220, 220. After that break, it was very weak. So if you do get a bounce today, I'd look for that fade, right? Look to see if that fades. All right. SPY. Some very clear levels here on SPY today. Let's go to the 30-minute chart. Actually, you know what? Let's go hourly. Here we go. So here's the hourly on the SPY. You can see, look how clear 512 is today. 512, 512, 512. Very, very clear 512. Previous low, highs, 512, clear rejections. This would absolutely be, in my opinion, the level to watch for supply rejections today. If we bounce, look for 512 to reject. If we bounce and we start to see some weakness, this could be your short entry today at 512. Very, very nice level to be watching today on the SPY. To the downside, I'd be careful being short into the 508.50, and I'd be careful being short into this 507 low, right? 507. I'd be careful into 507, and of course, the big level is 505, right? So you have to be careful of some of this demand down here. We've sort of held in this zone previously, right? We've held here, we've held here, we've held here, right? We've held in this down here. The risk reward gets less attractive to shorts, right? And up here, the risk reward gets less attractive to longs. So just be a little bit careful down here into some of these previous hold levels. 508.50 is one of them, right? Right there. I would say that daily 20 is potentially where that SPY needs to come down to, around that 505, right? See this daily 20? That's possibly where you need to get that SPY back to, right? Back to that 505 level. It's very possible. But you want to be shorting into rejection spots, not shorting into demands. So what I would like to see, right, is if we get a pop, maybe try to get that average up here on that short, right, towards that 512 area. That could be a nice thing to watch. So 512, that's a nice short spot. A short spot to watch today. And then if we zoom out just for 1 second, I just want to show you, because under that 505 gets a little bit more interesting, right? Under that daily 20 and under that 505, right, it gets a little bit more slippery, right, to say the least. A little bit more slippery under that level. I would say your next level is probably right here, around this 503. And then it starts to, I'd say, get, sort of questionable, right, in some of this straight upside movement. So, yeah, I think you want to start being on your watch here, because a break under 505, a break under the 20 SMA, I think starts to maybe flip us a little bit, right? If we break under this, and we break under these lows right here, and we break under this low, and we start to hold under this daily 20, right? If we start seeing something like this, right, this is where we want to start really paying attention to what's going on in this market to the downside, okay? So 505, big level, 507, 508.50, 512, all right? Let's go to the IWM. I'll just go Russell, RTY. Yeah, it's over that 2100, which is interesting. But you're sort of getting a little bit toppy here, it looks like, right at those previous highs. What is that, 2125? Yeah, right around that previous high, that 2125. Getting a little bit toppy, it seems. So be very careful on the Russell here. 2125, 21, even up to that 2150. Be careful of these previous highs right here. Could be a little bit of a rejection spot. Let's go to the Dow Jones. Mike Jones, Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones. Chris Jones signed a new contract. It still looks like it's this 38.9. It still looks to be the same level on the Dow, doesn't it? Dow's barely moving. It's holding, but barely moving. Yeah. All right. It looks like it's still the same 38.9, 38.880, 50 SMA right there. You can see the Dow is rejecting the daily 20 right now, which is sort of interesting, right? I'd watch right here, 38,900 if you're watching the Dow. All right, let's get into some stocks. Press that like button. If you guys could, we got 1,900 people, 500 likes. That's really abysmal. If you guys could, press that like button for me. Subscribe. Nora Jones. Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So, like I said earlier, some more people in the group here right now. Actually, hold on one second. Like I said earlier, but there's more people here in the chat now. Stop trying to long Tesla, okay? Very easy. That's my recommendation. Stop longing it. There will be a bottom. There will be a time. There will be an opportunity that Tesla gets crazy and starts to push back higher. It starts to give us some opportunities back to the upside, but you have clearly seen that that is not the time. If you continue to try to long this, if you continue to try to be the hero, if you continue to try to be the one that can say, I long Tesla at 175 and I'm up a shitload of money because that was the bottom, you're going to continue to probably get faked out of the position. So if you're going to do it, maybe buy it with a few shares at a time, money you don't care about. But if you're trading short-term expiration options, you're going to probably have a tough time, especially if you are trading with money that you cannot afford or you're emotional over when trading. Please be careful here. It is very clear that the rejections are still there. It's very clear that the price action is still very weak. So Friday, right, when everyone thought Tesla might go higher, bam, straight in your face. 184 rejection, right? Very clear level. The next very clear level is 190. So I'm going to go zoom out for a second. You can see right here, you are still under this 190, right? That was a major breakdown. You're still very clearly under that. You're very clearly even under this 184 still, right? So you're very clearly still very weak, and you're still very clearly under the daily 20 SMA. So the only reason I had interest even back here for maybe Tesla to move higher, right, was because of this daily 20 SMA that was holding the price action higher. But you can see we knifed right under that, okay? And now I would not be trying to long something that is trading under that moving average, okay? Do not try to long something that's under the daily 20. If Tesla can reclaim the daily 20, right, you'll have plenty of time to react and move and get this to move higher. Until then, I would leave it alone, okay? You can watch 175 if you so please. I wouldn't really trust it. If you break under 175, that is major downside, I think, to be watching. Under this 175, I would assume you come down to that 165. So I'd watch under 175, but I would also understand if you're going to try to short Tesla, guys, what does Tesla do that creates short opportunities, okay? We do not short Tesla at the lows. You do not start shorting Tesla at lows. Tesla, all of the time, pops and fades. It happens all of the time. It pops, it fades, right? It pops, it fades. It pops, it fades. It pops, it fades. Yesterday, Friday, it popped, it faded. So, what are you looking for if you want to short Tesla? You have to wait for a pop, okay? Don't try to short Tesla into these lows, right? Don't be squeezed out on a fake pop. Let it pop and look for the fade. So, if I wanted to short Tesla this week, I would simply wait to see if it can get back to 184. If Tesla can get back to 184, I would look for that move higher. I'd look for that weakness, and I'd look to see if it fades back lower. All right? Nvidia. So, nice little candle there on Friday on Nvidia. Nice little, very aggressive red candle. Is this a blow off top? I will have to find out. That's a very aggressive sell candle on Nvidia on Friday. Let me go ahead and clear this up just a moment, but I can there's definitely some levels here to be watching this morning. If we go to the 15-minute chart, right, the first level we're very clearly watching here is 900. 900 has now turned into a rejection point. So this is very key, right? Look at this. You can see highs, lows, highs, highs. So 900 is now a very clear supply to be watching on Nvidia. Below 900, you have this 875 level right here, 875, 875, 875. And right now as we speak in the pre-market, looks like we're sort of rejecting that 875, right there. So this 875, I believe, is an important level to watch today. Maybe a level to catch some short opportunities off of. If I zoom in, under 875, your first demand that I'd be paying attention to is right here at 850, right? I think that's important. And then under that, you have this 830. So 850, 830, right? And then to the upside, 875, 890. These are the levels that I'd be watching today on Nvidia, looking to see if I can trade around them. I'd look for rejections at 875. I'd look for rejections at 900. I'd look for support at 850. I'd look for support at 830, right? How do I want to trade it? I'm just going to trade how it's sort of moving off these levels today. If I zoom out, let me zoom out. If you break under that sort of 830 area, right, I think you sort of have that 800. Does Nvidia have to come back to the daily 20? It's very possible, right? It's very possible that this daily 20 is playing catch-up right now, right? We could just get a catch-up move, right? The Nvidia could need to sort of slide as this daily 20 catches up for that next upside move. It's very possible. But for now, these are the levels you watch today. You don't let a bias come into your head today. You don't say, oh, Nvidia needs to move lower, right? Let's just play these levels. So I would play 875 rejections. I'd play 900 rejections. If you break under 850, I could look for that short into 830. If you break under 830, you look for the short into 800. Okay? You're just playing these levels. That's all you're doing. 850, 830, 875, and 900. All right? AMD. This could be interesting. This could get interesting. Look at this AMD 1 hour. Okay? AMD 1 hour. Let me get a I'm going to get you a very interesting volume profile here. I don't even know what it looks like, but I can already tell you what it looks like. I know there's going to be a gap of price action between 200 and 184. That is exactly what's there. Okay? So, you can see right here. 200 and 184. Right between there is a valley of price action. Right there. Valley of price action between 200 and 184. If you break under 200 today, okay, I would absolutely be looking to see if there is a short into that 184. Maybe it's like 198.50, right? It might not be exactly 200. 198.60. Let me drop this down to the 15 just so I can get that exact level for you guys. Yeah, I would use this exact low right here, I believe. It might be 200. I can't tell you for sure the exact level, but if you get under, I think there's 198.50 here, right? This low right here from Tuesday of last week. If you get under that, I think you are going to quickly move into the daily 20 SMA at 184 with this low volume gap. I would absolutely target and watch this short this week. All right. SMCI, you're watching 1080. If you break under 1080, you get weak. That's it. All right. That's very easy to read. Why is that easy to read today? Why is it easy to know that why at least do I believe it is easy to know that if SMCI gets under 1080, you probably move back to 1,000. The reason for that is because a break under 1080 would be a break back under this major high. If you break back under that major high, if you break back under this 1080 level that's been holding and back under this high, I would assume you trade very quickly back down to that next demand, which is down at 1,000. So watch under 1080. If you get under 1080, I'd say we go to 1,000. Under 1,000, you go back to the daily 20 SMA. Upside supply, 1150. TSM, probably going to extend its pullback with the rest of the semiconductor market, if that's what we see. So let me go to the 30-minute chart. I would probably want TSM. I don't really trust that level. I'd probably want TSM back to this 140, right, before I even look at it. I'd say look for 140, I'd say TSM probably needs to slide back down towards that 140 level, possibly even back down to that 20 SMA. That's what I would be looking for here. We get a little bit more time and we just get a bigger picture look. Yeah, I'd say TSM back towards this 134 or this 140, and then see what happens at these levels here. Okay, 130, let it slide. Let TSM slide to 140. Let it slide back down towards that 20 SMA at 134. Let's go to Meta, because Meta has very clearly done some shifts here. I think we did a fantastic job on Meta, getting in, getting out, taking our money and running. It was really a nice move, and we can clearly see what's going on, right? Remember that 505 level we talked about? That was a very key break and, a breakout on Friday or Thursday that, made that profit. It was, look at it today, right? Look at 505 today. Look how clear this rejection is. So 505, very clearly rejecting on Meta. That is a beautiful rejection right there. If you get a bounce on Meta, I would watch this 505 rejection. This could be very nice. Under 505, we know these levels because we've been staring at them all last week, right? We know 494, we know 488, right? So we know not to short 494, we know not to short 488. What would I be looking for? I would look for a bounce and fade at 505 or a bounce and fade at 510. Those would be my watches today on Meta. Look to see if we can bounce and fade these levels. All right? You could watch the 494 demand and the 488 demand as well. Amazon, not good. Back under 176. No bueno, right? It's still just not getting the juice that you need over these key supply levels, right? We've talked about this. We cannot get over this. We can't hold over this 176. It tried to on Friday. It tried and failed all in one day, right? All in one day. It tried to get over 176. It did get over 176. It continued higher off that level, and all in one day, it came right back down and gave up that whole move. So I do not like Amazon anymore, right? I needed to see something solid over 176, and you can see here, we are turning it back into a rejection point just on Friday, right? Friday, we tried to hold it. We failed it. We turned it into a rejection all in one day. 176, too tough to be long here, in my opinion. So I'd leave Amazon alone. I think it's a shit show now. There's no clarity to it. There would have been clarity to Amazon if it did this, right? Let's sort of hide this. There would have been clarity to Amazon if it did this, right? If Amazon was able to turn this level into a new low and start to build higher, right? That's a very clear move. But look, no clarity. Right back under, total shit show. Not interested. Microsoft, just still in the same channel, right? Nothing really changed here, guys. Same exact thing. I don't know why we even asked to look at this anymore, all right? Guys, if there's a channel here, don't ask me about it. All right, you already know what the answer is. It's here, and it's only trade here or only trade here, okay? That's it. You either trade it here, or you're just randomly doing something for no reason. There's no reason to trade Microsoft unless it is at demand lows, at supply highs, or breaking above or below the channel. Okay? That's it. All right. Let's go Netflix. Netflix trying very hard to hold on to this level, but I don't trust it, so to say. I really don't trust it much right now with this market. I think I probably want Netflix back down to this 594 before I trust anything. Back down to that 20 SMA. I think this rejection right here is coming in pretty heavy. This 615 rejection. I'll show you guys in a second why I say that. We go ahead and do this. Delete that. I'm going to go to the 15-minute. Let me zoom out a little bit. All right. So I think this 615 level is getting a little bit stuck here. So I don't really want to long it into 615. This is exactly where it needed to break on Friday, and it could not. You can see these previous 615 lows, this 615 sort of drop, and then look at that Friday rejection at 615. So I don't really want to long Netflix. especially with what I'm seeing on the market. I don't really like that. And this 615, I think, could be a little bit of a rejection spot. So watch out for that 615, right? This could be a little bit of a flag, right here, off that 615, back to the downside. So watch 615. That's big. And then right here, I think, is your demand at 593. Okay? So 615, big level today on Netflix. Google. Yeah, Google, you could look for that 100 SMA, right? You could look for that 100 SMA, right? Right here. Look at this. Another potential rejection there. I'm not bearish as fuck. I'm just realistic with what I'm seeing on the market. If you're bearish here and the NASDAQ bounces off the daily 20, you're going to get slapped in the ass. In fact, you might like that. So you've slapped in your face. You don't like that. No, not bearish. Just reading the levels, and there's some important breakdowns. Right? There's some very important breakdowns. So hourly chart here, you can see 140, right? 140, 140, 140. I would watch that rejection up there. This could also be a hold level, right? You have right here 132, 135, right? You're above that 200 SMA. So you don't want to short Google into this level, right? You don't want to short Google into that 135. You want a bounce and a fade, right? You want a bounce and a fade to short something like this because that already happened. Right? Look at Friday's move. So Google had a very nice bounce, and if you just sat there and said, okay, we're moving higher into big supply, right? Let me start to see where this starts to fade, right? That's the trade. That's the trade you should be looking for. Supply, 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 100 SMA, beautiful fade. So if you get another bounce into this 140 area, get another bounce into that 100, I'd look for another fade. But I would not short it into with entries near the 200 SMA. Hopefully you get the difference. All right. Apple. Yeah, nothing, guys. It's just holding right at 170. I'd leave it alone. It tried to hold 170 on Friday. It did. But man, does it just look lifeless. I would not be involved. Let's go to, what did MRVL end up doing? Oh. Yeah, big break under 80. MRVL, this thing's probably over, right? It was the run-up before earnings. I'd say MRVL, let's see if it holds that 74. That's going to be big there. 74, right? Watch that MRVL. ARM, yeah, big breakdown on ARM. I got out of this on Friday, went fully cash. I did not like that Nvidia day on Friday. It sort of spooked me. So what did I decide to do? Rather than trying to, satisfy my ego, I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and play protective, right? Rather than trying to satisfy my ego with, the plays that I'm in, working out, I told myself, hey, let's go ahead and refresh. Let's come into Monday cash heavy and reassess this market. And I think that was a very smart idea. And you can see ARM is now under that 130, under that 20 SMA, and your share lockup period ends tomorrow. So this could be interesting. Let's see what happens there. Next demand is likely down at that 115. All right, guys, I got to get some charts in the group for you guys that are subscribed to the chat. So I got to run here soon. Let me just go over the futures levels one more time for you. I think the key levels, well, let's go to SPY real quick. I think the next key level you're watching here on SPY, guys, is this Wednesday low. Right here, Wednesday low, 508.50. I think that's very key. Watch out for that demand on the SPY today, okay? 508.50, and on the ES, it's very clearly 51.50, guys, right in here. 51.50. Be careful down at this demand, okay? This is what you need to be aware of today. You cannot short at the lows. The market has still found abilities to bounce, okay? Do not short at the lows. So there's no reason to be shorting into 51.50, into this daily 20. This is the worst spot to be shorting today. You need bounces and fades. Bounces and fades. This is what I would be looking for right on this market. If the market starts to get weak, you'll start to see the buying get exhausted, right? You'll still get those knee-jerk reactions to the upside because there's still buyers left, but you'll start to see that exhaustion come in, right? And if the market starts to weaken, you're going to start to get bounces and sort of lower highs, right? Lower highs, fades, and lower high fades, right? So you're not going to want to be short at the lows and get stuck in a bounce and fade, okay? You want to be short at the highs of the fades. This is how the market, if the market moves like this, if the market starts to move lower, this is how it's going to start to move lower. You're going to get those sort of last-ditch effort highs, those last-ditch effort bounces, and then the fades back at supply again to make new lows. You're not going to want to be short at the lows, okay? So watch out for these demands still. While the market might get weak a little bit because of those semis, you still do not want to be stuck in a nasty demand bounce that is still looming on the market. You've seen it plenty of times, right? So be aware of that. All right, guys. That's all I got. Press that like button if you could. Subscribe to the channel. It's an interesting week. It sure as hell is an interesting week. You've gotten the first little taste of some semiconductor weakness, and you know there's going to be some salivating bears out there. So do not come into today just solely focused on one direction. There's going to be 100% some salivating semiconductor bears that are going to be watching for more downside on some of those stocks that moved very aggressively on Friday. Be careful, okay? Stay open to both sides. It could be a little bit of trappy, right, with some of these demands below, and it could be very trappy with, remember, the CPI tomorrow, okay? CPI tomorrow, likely the price action is not as great as you may want it, so be careful. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Peace.